Shotgun Type 1. The pump action. The pump action is the most widely recognized shotgun action in the world. The source of that iconic chik-TCHACK sound that film editors add to virtually every shotgun scene, regardless of which action type the actor is actually holding. Pump-action shotguns are operated by manually sliding the forend rearward to eject the spent shell and then forward to chamber a new one. The mechanism is simple, mechanically robust, and capable of cycling virtually any 12-gauge load from light target loads to heavy magnum hunting loads without adjustment. It is not picky about ammunition. The Remington 870 and the Mossberg 500 are the two most popular pump-action models in American history. They have sold over 10 million units collectively, making them among the best-selling long guns ever produced. The pump action's foul weather reliability makes it the dominant choice for waterfowl hunting in cold, wet conditions where semi-automatic mechanisms are more susceptible to malfunction from freezing, dirt, or extreme cold. Law enforcement agencies, military units, and home defense applications have standardized on pump actions specifically because they will function under conditions that more mechanically complex actions cannot guarantee. The pump action's limitation is rate of fire. Each shot requires a deliberate manual cycling stroke. Under stress and without training, many shooters fail to complete the full cycling stroke after a shot, creating a short stroke malfunction that requires manual correction. This is not a mechanical failure of the gun. It is a training issue, but it is the specific malfunction most associated with pump actions under stress conditions. Shotgun Type 2. The semi-automatic. The semi-automatic shotgun fires with each individual trigger pull and cycles itself automatically, ejecting the spent hull and chambering a new shell without any action from the shooter beyond pulling the trigger again. Semi-automatic shotguns are the most popular type of hunting shotgun worldwide, and the fastest cycling repeating shotgun available to the civilian market. Two operating systems drive semi-automatic shotguns, Command 3 at gas operation and inertia operation. Gas-operated semi-automatic shotguns bleed expanding propellant gas from the barrel through a port into a gas system that drives a piston or pushes directly against the bolt carrier, cycling the action. Gas systems absorb a portion of the recoil energy during the operating cycle, which reduces felt recoil at the shooter's shoulder. A significant advantage for shooters who fire large volumes of shells in a single session, including competitive clay target shooters. The Beretta A400, the Browning Maxus, and the Remington 1100 are among the most successful gas-operated designs. Inertia-operated semi-automatic shotguns use the rearward recoil force of the fired shell to compress a spring inside the bolt, which then drives the bolt rearward to eject the spent hull and forward to chamber the next round. The Benelli inertia system, introduced in 1969, is the most influential inertia design and remains the benchmark against which other inertia systems are measured. Inertia guns have fewer parts than gas guns, are simpler to disassemble and clean, and are less susceptible to fouling, but they require ammunition with sufficient recoil energy to cycle reliably and do not reduce felt recoil the way gas systems do. Shotgun Type 3. The break action. The break action is the oldest functional shotgun design in widespread use. A single barrel or pair of barrels mounted on a hinged frame that opens at the breech when a top lever is depressed, allowing shells to be inserted directly into the exposed chambers. Break-action shotguns require no bolt, no magazine, and no cycling mechanism beyond the hinge. After firing, the spent hulls are manually extracted and replaced. The simplicity is the entire point. Break-action shotguns come in three primary configurations. The over and under positions two barrels vertically, one above the other, and is the dominant configuration for clay target shooting, upland bird hunting, and sporting use. The side-by-side positions two barrels horizontally and represents the traditional British game gun configuration. The single-barrel break action is the simplest and least expensive shotgun in production. One barrel, one shot, reload manually. Over and under shotguns are the preferred platform for competitive clay target shooting, because the single sighting plane of the upper barrel provides a cleaner sight picture than the two barrels visible in a side-by-side configuration. They are also mechanically precise in ways that matter for clay shooting. The break action design allows for tighter chamber tolerances and more consistent trigger pulls than repeating actions typically achieve at comparable price points. The Perazzi MX-8, the Beretta 686, and the Browning Satori are among the most recognized over and under designs for both sport shooting and hunting. Shotgun Type 4. The over and under versus side-by-side. The over and under and side-by-side represent two distinct philosophical approaches to the double-barreled shotgun and deserve separate treatment beyond the basic break action description. The over and under's vertical barrel arrangement creates a single bottom barrel and a single top barrel that the shooter sees as a single plane when mounting the gun. The same visual reference used for pointing a single barrel shotgun. For most shooters transitioning from single-barrel guns, the over and under is more intuitive to point accurately. The side-by-side presents two barrels side by side, the traditional configuration of the English game gun and the form that defined shotgun design for roughly 3 centuries before the over and under became commercially dominant in the mid-20th century. The side-by-side's wider sighting plane can cause pointing errors for shooters accustomed to single-barrel guns. However, the side-by-side is lighter than a comparable over and under, handles more quickly for fast-moving birds in heavy cover, and has a trimmer profile that many hunters prefer for upland work. The most historically significant side-by-sides, English best guns from makers like Holland & Holland, Purdy, and Boss, represent the highest level of craftsmanship in the firearms world and command prices that reflect it. Shotgun Type 5. The semi-automatic gas versus inertia. Within the semi-automatic category, the choice between gas operation and inertia operation is the most practically significant technical decision for a shotgun buyer in 2026. Gas systems are more forgiving with light loads. Gas can be tuned to function reliably with low recoil target loads that generate insufficient energy to drive an inertia system. They reduce felt recoil measurably, which matters for competitive clay shooters firing hundreds of shells per session. They require more cleaning as the gas port and piston accumulate carbon fouling faster than the minimal fouling in an inertia system. Inertia systems are simpler, fewer parts, faster to disassemble, less fouling accumulation. They require more robust loads to cycle reliably. Light target ammunition that a gas gun handles without difficulty may short-cycle an inertia gun. The Benelli Super Black Eagle 3 and the Franchi Affinity 3 are inertia guns optimized for the conditions under which inertia operates at its best. Hunting with full-power loads in rough field conditions where the gun's simplicity and self-cleaning properties provide a meaningful advantage over gas systems. Shotgun Type 6. The bolt action. Bolt-action shotguns are among the rarest action types in current production. They occupy a narrow niche where their primary advantage justifies the trade-offs their design requires. A bolt-action shotgun is manually operated the same way a bolt-action rifle is. The shooter lifts the bolt handle, pulls it rearward to eject the spent hull, pushes it forward to chamber a new round, and closes it by pressing the handle down. The manual operation of the bolt allows tighter chamber tolerances and more consistent shell lockup than repeating actions typically achieve, which translates to more consistent accuracy with Sabot slug ammunition for deer hunting at extended ranges. Savage and Browning have produced bolt-action slug guns capable of printing sub-3-inch groups at 100 yards with premium Sabot slugs, accuracy that no pump-action or semi-automatic slug gun consistently matches at that distance. The trade-off is obvious. Rate of fire is the lowest of any repeating action type. A bolt-action shotgun for deer hunting is a specialized accuracy tool, not a general-purpose shotgun. Shotgun Type 7. The lever action. Lever-action shotguns represent the historical bridge between single-shot guns and the pump action. The first practical repeating shotgun design available to American shooters in the post-Civil War era, the Winchester Model 1887, designed by John Browning at Winchester's specific request to create a lever-action repeating shotgun for brand identity reasons, was the dominant repeating shotgun in the United States from its introduction in 1887 until pump actions displaced it in the early 20th century. The lever-action shotgun most visible in popular culture is the Winchester 1887 as wielded by Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2, a performance that introduced that specific one-handed spinning lever manipulation that the film itself made iconic and that is considerably more cinematic than practical. Henry, Chiappa, and Taylor's and Company produce lever-action shotguns in 410 bore and other gauges for plinking, small game hunting, and cowboy action competition, a shooting sport specifically built around historical American firearms designs. Shotgun Type 8, the single shot. The single-shot shotgun is the simplest functional shotgun design. One barrel, one chamber, one shell, and a manual reload after every shot. Single-shot break actions are the least expensive shotguns in production and the platform most commonly used to introduce new shooters to the firearm. The single-barrel design forces deliberate shot selection in a way that no repeating action requires. With only one shell available before a manual reload, the shooter must commit to the shot they are taking. Single-shot shotguns are used extensively in trap shooting competitions where the format of the sport, one clay per station, deliberate shot selection, precisely matches the mechanical characteristics of the platform. They are used by deer hunters who shoot slugs in jurisdictions where a single carefully placed shot is both legally sufficient and ethically preferred to a rapid follow-up. They are used to introduce young shooters and first-time firearm owners to shotgun handling because their manual operation makes every step of the loading, firing, and unloading sequence visible and deliberate. The correct shotgun type is determined by the application more than by any other variable. Hunting in foul weather with maximum reliability is the priority. Pump action. Competitive clay shooting with minimum recoil over high volume. Gas-operated semi-automatic. Traditional upland hunting with the fastest gun handling. Side-by-side break action. Deer hunting with slugs at extended range. Bolt action. The action serves the purpose. The purpose defines the correct action.